The moment, if you're close to a married man and you're a woman, the moment your respect for his wife goes down is the moment you need to move away from that relationship. Whatever the reason. Once you stop valuing her, if you can't value both of them, you don't need to be around either one of them. The moment, let me say something, because your disdain for her is a revelation of your attraction to him. And we got to pay attention to our true feelings. I don't care why it happened. Maybe he in confidence shared something about her dysfunctions, about her deficiencies that he should have never even told you, because that's their personal business and that's about loyalty. He should have never told you. But however your opinion of her went down, whether it's because of that or you think you'd be a better wife to her, to him than she is, when you get to that point, it's time for you to roll. Because you ought to respect family enough to say, I'm not going to break this family up. And I don't play with this. See, it's the same thing with a man. It's not just a side chick, it's a side slick. That's what you call a dude. If I'm a man and I'm close to a married woman, the moment my respect for her husband goes down is the moment that relationship needs to change. If she shared something with me that made me disrespect him and not appreciate him, I might be tempted to rescue her out of a situation that ain't none of my business. It ain't my job to rescue her. And if I start feeling that way, I need to back off. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? See, you got to respect family. At the end of the day, it ain't about what you want or I find them attraction. I done found my soulmate. How you going to call that your soulmate? They already married. That's a lie. The devil is a lie. You got to put family above all that stuff. Family matters. Your children matters. Your legacy matters. Your name matters. Your reputation matters more than your little feelings about somebody that turns you on and y'all got a lot in common. The hell with that. Family matters. That's what I'm talking about. Your family means more than your feelings. I'm about to cuss in this mug. Go tweet that. Your family's more important than your feelings with your little punk self. Always about your feelings. Your mama made you do whatever you felt like doing. That's why your little punk butt can't stay in a relationship, because your little mama spoils you. Now when your wife stands up to you, you can't stand in there and hang in there with your family because freaky Keisha keep giving you butt on the side. I know what I'm talking about. Let me sit back down. Let me sit my little self right back down.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spotlight Over the City. And we have added us a +1. And you already know, no introduction needed. But in case you do need one, it's the mega. Let me give you it's the Mega Pastor. Woo! He's the Grammy winner. Well, that's a little bit of cap. But he's all this other stuff that people not.
Yes, he is.
But
he
to
really
us,
is.
He's the gangster pastor of the city. He's raw. He's right to the point. And he's just what we need for us. So welcome, Pastor Keith Battle.
Yes.
Thank you,
Woo!
I love the longs.
Oh, we love
you, Pastor.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So, Pastor, that book, I'm going to tell you, we were listening to it on Audible, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Jumped
you
out
got
there.
it.
Audible, that's football, right? Audio. We were listening
It's
on
an
audio.
Audible.
Okay.
It's a platform called Audible
Gotcha.
that covers audio books. So you may have been listening on Audible.
Okay, so I need to put my book on it.
We did that on
So
Amazon.
we were listening, yeah. And so when I tell you that it was amazing, man, some of the things that were being projected, like a lot of good points for women and men.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. It's across the board.
Yeah.
Across the board,
We're
women
not
and
getting
men.
beat up. We both kind of get it, you know.
Yeah.
And some actors helped me do that too. Some scenes in there where the side chick snitches on the man, and I had some actors come in and help do that part. So it's got music and drama in chapter 6. So, for the brothers that just need that while they listen to a book, you know. Yeah, it's pretty.
We for those of you who were watching the show, last year we had Pastor back. Was it last year? No, it wasn't even a year ago.
No, it wasn't a year ago.
It was
Earlier this year.
Yeah, it was earlier this year. We
summer.
talked about the
Right
book.
before the play.
Right, that's right before the play. And we got into a lot of it, but we didn't get into all of it, all right? So we said we needed a part two.
We had to come back.
We had to come back for that. And so thank you so much for being back with us. A lot of singles have been interested in this book, so a lot of people were thinking, oh, it's just for married couples. But no, it is a lot of nuggets in there that applies to single people as well, because they're going to eventually, at some point, some of them will get married, and you
Right.
need to know these things. And you shared a lot of stuff about what to look for even before people get married. And what I think one of your favorite chapters, babe, was 9, ribology, right?
Yeah, I was listening. Yeah,
Ribology, yeah.
A lot of good points in there.
Yeah, ribology. What's the latest on you? Have you been on your book tour still? Are you done with
Oh
that?
yeah, so I am still doing a lot. In fact, I'm hosting events now. I got one coming up the first weekend in November, where people are really excited about is my wife is actually joining me, and we're doing a 3-hour thing on November 2nd here in the DMV.
Oh, we need to
where people
go
can
that.
check
Yeah.
it out. It's for married couples, and you have to be engaged or married.
Okay.
And where we teach the stuff, the principles, the tools, like in chapter 12, that help build a relationship and protect it, right? And so that's been good. We've been doing a lot of workshops and retreats and stuff.
That's
and the
so
book is
good.
still like usually by now a book would have kind of faded out.
Yeah.
But it's still picking up momentum. And I want to, if I may, I enjoy.
It's
I'm
your
enjoying the
platform.
show.
Let's
so
do it.
Yeah, you
I
got
could have sat here and just listened to the whole show, just the energy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Jenny and them and all that.
Yes,
But
thank
when
you.
y'all talked about Amber Geiger, of course, I'm always going to bring it back to relationships, right? I think something should be said about the fact that the facts state that her phone records show that she was in a constant inappropriate text dialogue with a colleague named Officer Martin Rivera, who's a married man on the same police force, saying things like, I'm so horny tonight. And that conversation continued until she pulled over at 9:55 p.m. Dallas time.
Oh.
And the conversation ended 3 minutes before Brotham Jean's death. If I might be saying his name
Yeah,
wrong.
Brotham.
know.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that when you're out there like that, your thinking is off. Your
Right.
judgment is off. You're already doing reckless stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think something should be said about how stupid we act when we cross the lines. Actually, infidelity is a very immature behavior. People having sex in cars like we still in high school again. It's very reckless. And I just thought about that when we were
So we didn't
talking
know that.
about how this all is connected. And a lot of people aren't
Yeah.
talking about that.
Yeah.
I know.
But they
Pastor.
made the man testify, and he cleaned up. He's probably in big trouble at home.
He in big trouble.
But he deleted all the text. He had to confess it because you can get that data even if it's deleted.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so that was part of evidence.
So he testified in court.
Yeah, they brought him on the stand.
See, what were they not talking about?
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I told you in the hair salon today, it's all kinds of stories now. I'm like, wow.
Okay, so
This
on
is
Spotlight,
getting more
I'm glad we
interesting.
brought that out on this platform
Yes.
because people that you need to go. But so now that makes it more interesting for the 10 years because now you were being extremely reckless on top of it, and it's being proven.
Yeah.
So 10 years. What you think about the sentencing, Pastor?
So I'm not up to date on what happens now. Does she have to do all 10, or is this? Or could she
No,
be out in
probably
3 years?
not. She could probably be out in about 3 to 4.
What they do, like 60%
You know how
of
they
that?
do.
30%, right?
She gonna
So
slide out, yeah. First time offender, police officer,
yeah, so it's not really 10.
get into a program.
I think it's interesting that the mother and the son have expressed that that's not going to bring their son back and their brother back. Her being in jail, I'm like you. Like that's a pretty profound reaction that they both had, and maybe, she can be a part of doing good
Right.
as a result of what she's done
Right.
wrong. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's just sad all across the board.
Yeah,
But
it's
me, because I'm a
totally
relationship guy, I locked in on the infidelity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
I
that
wonder
was
how it's connected.
That's right.
And how many people get hurt in all of this? There was an innocent bystander. So so one of the first recorded acts of infidelity in the Old Testament, somebody innocent got killed.
Yeah.
Like it was Uriah. He didn't deserve to die. I mean, so it can be some violence around this stuff.
David then sent the man to the front line and
Exactly.
got the man knocked off so he could smash the man wife.
Tricky, man.
I ain't mean to put
Just
y'all on
reckless.
David. That's my man.
Reckless,
I
right?
just had to tell the truth, David.
Yeah.
He did that though.
He did.
He did. So I'm
did.
just saying that's why. Now I had a situation
First
like that
porn
before I was
watch.
married where it could have cost me my life or somebody else their life.
Yeah.
And it was me just being in a place where I didn't know I was in the wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it turned out that I was definitely in the wrong.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
This woman
is
told me
dangerous.
that she was single and
Mm.
she wasn't seeing anybody, and I was over her house and somebody can't put a key in the door.
Oh man.
Can I disappear right now?
Tough situation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a tough situation. yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
Well,
We know you. The Lord brought you through. 'cause
I'm
you
here.
he's here.
Hey, that was
Yes.
tough though. Yeah,
And he's under contract now for life.
Well,
Yeah,
so.
I'm under contract.
With one leg turned.
That's
One
right.
leg,
We'll
bootleg,
work
That's
with
why I'm
one
gonna
leg.
work this one
That
leg.
bootleg.
That's right. That is so right.
I love
Most
it.
of the
I love it.
people who have been submitting questions, the consensus question, I just kind of summarized it. Lots of people are saying, can you find out from him, what do we do before infidelity starts? Like, what are the things? We may have touched on this the last time, but people are really like interested in knowing what they can do, if anything, to kind of like shield their relationships from even coming in.
A lot of sex and be attentive. But go ahead, Pastor, what you were saying. A lot of sex though, and be attentive. Why you
Yeah.
giving them sex?
You know, yeah, no, that's for a man. That's very important. And I think oftentimes, women make us feel shallow because like that's all you want, but all of our needs are different. And I think one of the things that can help too is being aware of how every blessing ends up moving us further apart, because infidelity often happens because the relationship is atrophying. People are separated. So when they get, they did all this stuff when they fell in love to get married, but then they get married, they get a house, and the house takes their attention, and then they have children. And as soon as a woman goes from wife to mother, there's a different whole energy you got to put into mothering a child and giving this child your time, and women are nursing the children and all of that. So utilizing babysitters, keeping the fun in the relationship is very important. Because if you did enough to get married, or if I say to a lady, because most women are concerned, but whatever you did to get a man, you can keep him that way usually.
Yeah, that's
But
what
a
we
lot of
say
stuff
lot.
stops. It just stops from both sides. The man stops pursuing, the wife stops being creative, and all of that. And I think we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ways you protect it. But the main thing is having fun.
Yeah.
Making home a fun environment.
Yeah, and being intentional about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, being present.
Yeah. We talked about that just in our, we're
Yeah,
very
shout out to
candid
Duncan.
with
So
our
we go to
relationship.
Duncan
We were on the
show.
Duncan show last night, and, we are very candid about things that go on with us. And one of the things we struggle with is what he just said, being present. Like with me having so much stuff going on with work, he's like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You chose that job. And,
Yeah.
and then, kids and my mom's health and all kinds of stuff. And,
Your life.
life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just seems like, my mind, I'm not present. I'm there, but not present. And so I have to work, I have to own my stuff, and I have to make sure that my relationship is not lacking because of that.
A lot of men want 3 A's, where they want 4, but I can't say one of them want 8.
Y'all
We
know
done-
what it
we
is.
got that one. Yeah.
They want attention, appreciation, and admiration.
Oh,
So
y'all got
attention,
that?
being
Yeah, break it
attentive,
down, break it down,
being
Pat.
attentive, like, do you pay attention to me? Am I a priority? We want to still feel like we're your boyfriend. Like when you come home from work, before you go in the kitchen and cook dinner or take care of the dog, take care of the kids, do you go find him, where my boyfriend at? Like that matters to a man. Or when he comes in the house, like he's been in the house 10 minutes and nobody said, welcome home, like we've been waiting for you. That's big for a man.
Right.
Appreciation is saying thanks for the things he's done. Thank you for how you take care of our house. Thank you for how you protect us. Thank you for how you provide for us, those things. And admiration is thankfulness for who he is. Thank you for being a good father, for being a man of integrity, for being brilliant, for being creative. Like those things, like he wants the woman to be his cheerleader. And we all know what the 4th A is.
Yeah, we
It's
know.
just-
We know what that is, y'all.
Praise the Lord.
Hey, so Pastor, you intelligent. Like, I heard you say you went to Fairmont Heights again.
I went to Fairmont Heights.
So then, did you go to college?
Yeah, not really. I went to Prince George Community
went by
College for a while to study how I can be a comedian. I was just class clown. I ended up going to a place called Washington Bible College to do biblical training. But like when I was in 3rd grade, I had a high IQ. I took an IQ exam. I didn't even know what it was, and I had a high IQ, but I was just a clown.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a lot of people didn't appreciate, man, this could be something. Like you could do something with this. I was just getting in trouble and beaten and punished for it. But yeah, so I didn't my learning comes from reading and observing things, I think.
Yeah, but I could just tell that you very
very.
Thank you, man.
So like,
that.
let's get back to this side to God, because I got a bunch of questions.
I know.
Let
Well,
you
we
finish
got a
Ed.
bunch of questions, but this is always happens because
Run
this
out
is
of
such a
time.
great
How
topic.
much time we got?
We got a little bit of time.
This
because
feel like the hot seat. You see
we
me
still have an
sweating, too.
artist that's going to close the show out, so we got to make sure that we get to him. But
Yeah,
listen, one of the other things I thought this one was crazy. Says, can you mention that what is wrong with me and my husband being open with each other? And I've told him that if he wants to go get some side piece, he just needs to tell me. And if I want to go get a side piece, I just need to tell him. But if we don't agree to it, then we shouldn't do that. Is that one of the things that will prevent?
I know we talked about
I'm
that.
like, wait a minute.
We talked about that last time, right?
Wait a minute, Pastor.
Because because the thing is, it sounds good on paper. Like, you it's particularly for a man. You mean your wife tells you, just let me know? First of all, it's something in us that just ain't gonna do that. Like, that can't tell her.
That sound like a trick.
That sound like a trap, right?
Set me up.
Yeah. And then how often do I gotta tell you what I do? I gotta give you details.
Right.
And then, like, if I'm a man, I don't know, just as a man, and I've given my wife permission to do that, and she come home, she'd be like, that was so good. Like, I'm done.
That's where it's gonna go bad.
Yeah,
when
I'm
she
done.
go out to do it.
Right.
Like, we
That's what
cool
she-
on
that's what I said.
outside.
Like, we both.
But if she do it,
I'm
it's
sorry.
going down.
We both have this opportunity. Like, she be like, then you go say, well, how was it? I never. I can't even explain.
It
Are
was
you
serious.
serious? Are you
Matter of
serious?
fact, me and you gonna have to take off sometime.
You
this
know,
done went
you
too far here.
need him to come over. I'm gonna need you to let you meet him so he can teach you some stuff.
see,
That's
That's
too
right.
much. I think it
yeah.
just gets too. I guess for me, I think I said something to you because I got a little. Because you was like, well, if what man would say no to that? And I'm like, you should say no to that. Why would you even want another woman?
The first man that was offered to in Genesis chapter 16, his wife Sarah said, "Here's my handmaid. Her name is Hagar. You can have sex with her because I can't have
'Cause
these
I can't
babies.
have-
I can't. There's something I can't do. She can do it." And he ain't say, "Sure, baby. We can wait on the Lord." He's like,
Abraham
hey,
was like, so when we get
we'll-
started?
like, right.
Hagar was bad.
And it didn't work. It
Hagar was
worked. It
bad.
worked for a while, but it
But it
didn't
didn't
work.
work.
You know why? Because Hagar knew that she could do something for the man that that his wife couldn't. And I think sometimes that becomes messy. People don't stay in their lane.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hagar wanted wife level. She
Yeah.
wanted, so the Bible says she started treating Sarah with disrespect.
Right.
Yeah.
Like.
I'm the one got the
Sarah's
baby.
Sarah's like,
you.
yeah, I got the baby.
Yeah,
Damn,
now
what
what?
you got? They got child support forever now.
Right.
And Sarah's like, you work for me. So
Right.
I just think that was an example that is just, I don't know. I just don't think it'll work. Maybe people like Monique, there are people who do it.
I think you have to be extremely mature. I think that ultimately it will fall in your face. Something will go bad on one side or the other, or both. Either feelings get involved with the
Yeah.
other person to the point where you look at the
That's
wife
right.
like she your side chick,
Yeah.
and now this other girl is more. Because a side chick, me personally, I used to be a professional whore. Like, I was a single man. I didn't consider myself being a whore because I was not lying to the women.
Right.
I would say I don't want a girlfriend.
Right.
And for whatever reason, when you tell a girl that, they want to make themselves be your girlfriend.
Right. That was your move.
So they going to compete
Yeah.
with each other for it. And I was young. And so as you get older, like when you're young, you get trapped off
Yeah.
in that. Like, eventually it goes bad.
Yeah.
Some kind of way.
Somebody gonna go crazy.
I had
Yeah.
a girl show up. I was living in Crofton. And this how long ago it was, like 90s. And this young lady showed up at my door and she did stab me in my side, but I caught quarter hand. But this is because I had a young lady in the house and I was honest and told her. I said, you can't come over here. I got somebody in here. She showed up at my door. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And so this is the lifestyle that you can create. But when
Yeah.
you're young, you go through this.
Yeah.
But when you get old, I would suggest that this is something, what we call child's play. You should do that as a young man. Like in your young age, get this out the way. I know that's not morally what they say to do, but as a young person, people can say don't have sex and this and that, but at 16, 17, 19, 22, you're going to probably explore your body. And so I would say be safe about it, but definitely don't have multiples. Like in our day, it was different.
Yeah.
It was a lot different. So
Yeah.
Well, I want to, I want to get to another question from one of our viewers. Because I got this question like 8 times. Can we ask Pastor Battle if once infidelity occurs, how do I stay with my husband? Like I'm trying to stay,
wow.
but it is very difficult. Every time I look at him, I start thinking about what he did, but I don't want to end my marriage. I really believe in it.
Yeah, I always say there are 5 things you got to have to rebuild trust. If these 5 things aren't in place, then I wouldn't tell her to stay because it's
Okay.
going to happen again. The first one is an admission. If a man doesn't admit that he did it wrong, if he's still lying about it and saying he wasn't what you thought it was, and you already know it was, then, he's still hiding. The second one is there has to be accountability. Like, he's got to make himself accountable, and accountability means access to data. Like, you can't have a password she doesn't have. Because usually all of the information is in the iPad, the iPhone.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere. So,
I want to go back to that, but I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
But no, I want you to keep going, but I want to get back
Yeah,
to that.
get
what
his
you saying.
5 points out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want you
so
to get
so
the
you
power.
got to have an admission, you got to have accountability. Then you have to have what I would call amendments you got to make. Like, because even though a man may stop the behavior, he can't stop the emotions that made him behave that way. If he struggles with loneliness, emptiness, feeling rejected, he's going to still feel those things. So now he's got to find another way of medicating that pain. It may be hanging out with his boys or going to a game or picking up a hobby or something, spending time with his kids. But he's got to find another way, because you can't just sit there and think you're not going to feel the same stuff again. You have to be able to feel the same stuff and do something healthy with it. The other A word is called ambits, which are boundaries. You have to have something in your life that actually protects you from going back. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Like they don't put boundaries in their life. And that can mean changing your number. That can mean blocking people on social media. That means unfriending people. It can mean changing jobs, changing churches. Like, you can't be around the people you were unfaithful with and everybody cool with that.
Right.
Like, y'all still going on trips together, y'all still having lunch
no.
together. Like,
Right.
what are the boundaries in place? And the last thing is there must be an acknowledgement of the pain that I've caused for everyone. So I can't just say I was wrong. I got to really be in touch with this could have cost everything. And I'm grateful that you stayed. Now, what do I need to do to rebuild trust? Like every day, being accountable, making sure you can never be missing. You can't be like, your phone dead.
Right.
Your phone can't ever die.
I can't die.
You can't ever die. You got to use somebody else's charger. But you cannot be inaccessible for periods of time, because that's the behavior that got you caught.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the
So
comment.
now, because in a chapter of your book, you discussed this very thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one, and we were
Okay.
talking about it. This is why
Yeah.
I said double back. I was saying we talked about it on the show before. You said your mate should have all your passcodes and that kind of stuff.
Once
And
there's
of
been
course-
infidelity.
Yeah.
Well,
once-
wait.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to compare prior to versus after infidelity.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's almost imprisoning a person, and I don't mean to use it that strongly, but it would make me feel imprisoned if I had never did anything to my wife to violate my marriage, and she still had these type of demands in an early going set of our marriage. Because I believe in independence. Like when I
Yeah.
met Terry, I said, I don't want you to stop going out with your girlfriends on Friday nights if that's your
Sure.
outlet. I don't want you to do your whatever that is. Just do it with respect to your marriage.
Yeah.
But don't stop. They're still your friends. So I believe
I
in
like
that
that.
independence. right?
Yeah.
So I believe that if you go into it that way, it's almost crippling, because that's why men sometimes say, "Oh, you about to get married? Oh, your life over." That kind of stuff,
Hey,
right?
look at these as handcuffs.
Yeah,
These are handcuffs
yeah, she
right
gave
here.
me a T-shirt with the handcuffs that said "groom."
Locked down.
Yeah, locked down, right? And so that's what I mean. It makes men feel that way because of those things. Now, I do agree prior, like the aftermath of it all, if this is what you get yourself into, this is because you have now ill behavior. You can't be trusted.
Those are the consequences.
There you go. So now it makes sense
Yeah, and
that
you're
you have
saying
to do that.
right. You're saying it shouldn't be in play. You shouldn't have to oblige by those boundaries if you've been faithful.
And you've proven yourself
proven
to be an
yourself.
upstanding man in your marriage,
Yeah.
or woman in your marriage. I believe personally that you should still maintain a certain level of independence as a person.
See, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all, Stan, and I understand the logic of it. I also understand that emotionally and psychologically, trauma produces triggers. And sometimes you don't have to cause the trauma to have to live with it. Everybody brings a history into the relationship. And even though you weren't the guilty one, you're married to somebody who has a history of infidelity in their past and hurt and distrust. And so sometimes your behavior might look, that's how Steve used to do.
Right.
Steve used to go just like this when he would be thinking about another one. And you don't even know Steve.
Right.
And I'm saying we can ignore that and dismiss it, or we can be sensitive to it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if I don't have anything to hide, I don't need to hide it, right?
Right.
But I think some of that is not, most of us don't marry anybody without some history. And that history, like, if you had the fact that you had somebody stab you who was upset with you, like that puts you on wanted. Like you don't want no woman walking up on you or whatever. Like, you ever been? You see, you from the street, right?
Right.
You ever been in a fight? You've been in a street fight, right? Have you ever been stole before?
Yeah.
Snuck, right?
Yep.
Ain't that you only need one? Me too, right?
That's-
All you need is one. Ain't you paranoid out there?
Yeah.
Anybody get in your range? Like, oh, man, don't walk up on me. Don't walk up on me, right? And that's because I've been cut before.
Yeah.
So you can't walk up on me. Now the new people around you, man, I was just coming to hug you. Yeah, but DeCarlo
Yeah,
snuck
back
me,
then,
man.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So I'm still, you just can't get in my space.
Exactly.
Well, I gotta cut y'all off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Look, hey,
I'm about to get in trouble.
Hey, Pat, we need 3 shows.
My man,
Look, we
I
got
love
so
it,
much,
I love
but
it,
we
I love
got
it.
the young man. We got
Yeah,
We got
we got it.
Dimitri in
So we gonna
here.
let him close. But look, if we can do it after dark for 2 seconds.
We
or something.
can. We can do a
But we got-
spotlight
we
after
got-
dark.
Yeah, because that's what we did. But if you could, we're gonna go ahead and bring up our artist, and we'll be right back after this commercial, and we're gonna get him on here.
Okay.
All right, spotlight over the city.
We go.
Man, we having a good time though. That's how